Hello everyone, Fangs here. Welcome to another League of Dracula 2025 tournament match. We are still awaiting Geo's arrival. Hello everyone, Fangs here. So, we are still awaiting Geo's arrival for this match, but apparently CombatWombat has a very peculiar sense of humor, calling the lobby for the tournament match Snow White and the Four Hunters. Just thinking for some reason that's because Snow White had relationships with the forest animals and would try to stay hidden from the world. That it's an appropriate lobby name. I, for one, think it's rather strange, but who am I to judge? Where is Geo? Ah, there he is. Looks as if the game is afoot. Okay. Weirdo wombat. In any event, as soon as CombatWombat hits that play button, which he has control over, we will be off to we'll be getting started. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so Geo has been, at least lately, adopting I believe it's been, the name that's caught on is the Oktoberfest start, putting everyone but Van Helsing at Munich while Van Helsing takes his usual post in London. And it looks as if that's what's going to happen. I play or have... That is an interesting question, Snuff. Who do you root for? You have played for both. You have played it or will play both these guys, so no MB guy rooting interests. That is interesting. For my part, I do not... Oh, whoops, he put Van Helsing in Munich. Oh dear. Okay, okay, they're suggesting a restart. Alright. Okay. Yeah, it looks as if we're going to create a... No, okay, yeah, we gotta abandon that lobby. So Snuff is... Okay, so you're gonna root for CombatWombat because Geo is who has won tournaments before. Well, admittedly only team tournaments, but that is fair. But as for how well they are doing, like on the tables, Geo has played 8 games before this one, and is currently at a score of 3-5, 3 out of 8. Whereas CombatWombat has only played 6 before this, and is at precisely 50-50. So yeah, we'll see. if you want Snuff, if you since you are about, if you want to join me for CoCom, I would not be opposed to you doing that. But from our recent chats, I imagine that you have things to do. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate. But well. Okay. The week 1 supply train is underway. Okay. Garlic and a vampire lair. Interesting. And garlic is a nice like fill in the gap when Mia doesn't have any anti-fang card. It's not bad. But well, when it comes to both garlic and crucifix, the reactive anti-fang cards, it's much better if it's much better if they come as a surprise. And Dracula doesn't know you have them. So, Snuff, if you want to take a guess where CombatWombat shows begin. And I say Snuff, but anyone else who happens to be about, you want to take a guess as well? Me personally, I don't have any particular preference as to which of them win. Going to make your guess after we see if there's a misdirect? Okay, fair enough. As if there isn't one, it could help narrow down a couple spots. Okay, no misdirect, at least not yet. In truth, it'll be more or after the next one that misdirect will actually narrow things down. To be honest, because like Athens start, you misdirect after, like Ireland, if for some reason he chose to go there. Same, you don't have to misdirect, rather. Okay, so Snuff has put his guess down at Cadiz in Spain. Oh, newspaper. Oh, well, you could be spot on. You're a little bit off in terms of, yeah, I agree that this Oktoberfest start, as it's being called, makes Drac very incentivized to start in either Spain or Britannia. So, you're guessing first encounter? Yeah, fair. Fair, so... But if I had to guess, I would likely say Granada over Cadiz. For first encounter. But we'll see. Does he rumor this encounter? Apparently so. Okay. Okay. No garlic or garlic wreath. Okay. Or rather discarding said items. Okay, another garlic wreath. Local rumors? Okay. Earlier that might have been useful, but not anymore. Yeah. I know that we know where his first location is. It's going to be... It's once again going to be a while before we see the next, like, shall we say, burst of action. This strike is Dark Hall first encounter of the vamp because the odds of vampire mature are much higher. To Dark Hall? I don't know about that. I don't see why it would be particularly appealing. I would say if anything it would give you less incentive because due to higher chances of maturing there would be fewer things for lair cycling to get all the junk out of your hand, because Dark Hall, as I'm pretty sure we all know, but for those who don't, Dark Hall actually slows down Dracula's encounter economy. Yeah, so I would say that if anything, it makes you Dark Hall even less appealing than usual. Okay. We gonna start moving yet? Okay. It's possible. It would appear possible to me that either the horses are deeply buried in the item deck. And I was going to say blue tickets. It'll take long. Just thinking, yeah. That is an idea, like having more options, but typically, more often you'd have to be seriously unlucky to have like no options in terms of, especially since if you like shove your junk stuff at like right after the vampire, then that's what gets wiped, and you're like filtering your hand that way. At least to a certain degree. So, oh, okay, so we've got at least 2 horses. I will say that a horse, a garlic, and one other thing is not the most appealing thing, because the moment you step on a spy and have to discard your one weapon card, then who knows what you might run into. Can't say I especially like that. Yeah, this will be a very interesting psychic bond, I agree. And it will be interesting to see, as you say, that whether or not they even do burn events to get to this rumor token, or if they choose to just let it go and play from a little bit behind. Okay, so Mia now has an escape route. Good event, good event. Okay, he is not in Galia, so that means that he's still down there. Interesting. However, that being said, like if this is Granada, he could be at Santander right now, just about to step on Bordeaux. Or if it's Cadiz, same aim principle except with Saragossa going into Toulouse. So the hunters will have to approach with caution, so as to try to avoid some of these unpleasantries. What if he's in Italia? He would have had to go through Marseille to do that. Or wait, I suppose. Yeah, now that you point that out, that is possible, but okay, never mind that. Nope. Yeah, that would have been rather interesting to see. Okay, Van Helsing setting sail. Okay, I would have Mina. I might have Mina supply. Try to get something better than a garlic. Oh, okay. I mean, if you have a large ticket, then sure. By all means. Yes, indeed, another scan opportunity. Yeah. I imagine that Gyro will be quite happy to if Geo does indeed scan, then Captain Gyro will be quite happy about what he will see when he watches this. And that is correct, Snuff. If he is not in Iberia, then we know precisely where he is. And then from there you can just trace backwards: Santander, Lisbon, Cadiz. That would, for him to be Cadiz, it would be either Cadiz with Hyde or Granada. At least Cadiz with a Hyde somewhere along the way, and then Granada, or Granada without it, rather. Excuse me. Oh, no scan. Well, I mean, if your horse economy is still not the best, then I don't blame him for doing that. Because you're gonna find out soon enough. Like just how. Well, apparently he didn't go to Bordeaux. Yeah, so that means that. That means that he hit at Granada, or I mean, it could even be at Alicante. It's possible he just circled all the way around. Which Alicante, since that's where you would typically want to depart from Iberia, I think makes the most sense. Okay, Guldaming has found his horse. I'm assuming that's what he was digging for. 3v1 time? Considering that there was no renewed vigor, no. Unfortunately not. 2v1? Possibly. I mean, he is sitting on two. Oh, okay, well, in that case, simply have Seward check out Alicante, see if that is where the rumor token is. Because it's not at all a ridiculous idea to think that it might be there. Okay. So that means that the rumor token is at Granada. That being said, if you what if you simply send Mia to Santander? Because presumably there's a hide card there. And especially if this is a new vampire, then you might not be able to take it out. Okay, yeah, hide card. Bats could definitely be nasty here. Okay, so that's, yeah, I might have actually sent Mia to Santander, simply tank the 7 points and simply pick up where the trail will come up again. I might have just let that go, because you know that there's a hide somewhere, and therefore it's almost certainly going to be there. Yeah, especially since you do have. I mean, she may not have garlic anymore, as she's not showing that anymore. I think they may have done a trade, but she does indeed have an escape route. So and I agree that is a good thing, Snuff. Interesting. Training with Seward. Okay, what's going to happen here? Are we going to have Dracula do a feed or a dark call or something? What have we got on here that he's going to ambush with? Okay, reckless vampire. Yeah, it's a genuine question whether or not you even use the escape route there. Okay, new vampire. And her other card is Lucky Find. Okay, that's useful. Ooh, I might have used that a little bit later. Especially since you've already discarded both Holy Circles, so you're not gonna find that. Unfortunately. So she had the option to pick up a stake rifle, dog's pistol. So it's something that is at least on par to a rifle or a stake. Let's see what happens here. Claws, escape. Okay. That hurts, but it's not the worst thing. Ouch. Yeah, so your prediction on first encounter was just a hair off. Stuff. Alright, and what we got? A hoax. Rumored hoax. Well, that's interesting. This could definitely prove to be nasty. I almost certainly will, because you're gonna be shuffling 7 Drac events. Does Drac stay put and try to kill her? I think that the answer to that may be yes. And yeah, Nocturnal Visit would be huge. Alright, let's see what... Okay. Well, whatever it is, it wasn't a roadblock or some storms, as we had no pause. Okay. Wolf form. I think that makes sense. What would be rather wacky is if he were to have fake wolf form to Granada. Yeah, that is quite true. It would be hilarious and yet quickly discovered. So, honestly, I would have had Goldaming check Barcelona, as that is the most likely location for him to go to. So, So what will this Dracula event end up being? It will be interesting. Alright. Where is Stuart gonna go? Going to check Toulouse. Oh, wild horses. Okay. So he didn't go to Toulouse, and well, all of that stuff is on the all of these faces are on the trail, so unless he fake wolf horn to Saragossa, then or Granada, he is at Barcelona. Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, I don't know what he would be up to. I mean, he might choose to hide. Like, if he's sitting on a fog, he might choose to hide. Before heading out to sea. But I would go out to sea now while they still have a lot of trail to clean up. Oh, CG. Oh, he's going for the gamble that he went to Granada, but he didn't. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, what is he sitting on there? It is a fog. Whoa. That was definitely premature, if you ask me. He was hoping for him to be at Granada to try to nuke him or something like that, but apparently he's sitting on a fog in Barcelona, as we originally suspected. Yeah, and with the use of CG like that, then Drac is now in quite a good position. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, the most immediate benefit, as Snuff is pointing out in chat, is that, I mean, he needs to go to sea now, and now he doesn't have to, like, quote unquote, have to wolf form ashore. Now that CG is gone. That was way too premature, in my opinion. Slow horse for gloaming. Okay. I wonder, will CombatWombat use the wild horses to, like, force Mina right back into Madrid? Try to kill her with a double daytime ambush? Try to get a 4 damage ambush in with one of the two? Okay, so he's going to go clean up Lisbon, but he can now use wild horses to force a mature at Cadiz, if he so desires to. I have no idea what that might be, what that card is there, but I think this might be worth using wild horses. Force a mature with it. Yep. Okay. Yep, that's what he's doing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's... Well, the thing is, I never said it was a vampire. This could be another hoax. He could, if he's lucky, assuming that he's ambushing with both, manage to kill Mina, and also, at the very least, the reckless vampire may be able to get a point or two. So, okay, Mez into knife. Okay, so Mina does have a knife. Could kill me in the day on that's here, but I wouldn't use wild horses for that. I think that it's a mixture of two things. One, you have the possibility of killing Mina, and two, but the second part of it is that you have the now guaranteed mature on whatever is next. Whoa, Heavenly Host. Okay, so the vampire is dead. However, Mina is now down to just a knife to fight the new vampire. And if the new vampire gets off of plotting, then Mina could die. Yeah, because in addition to this potential Mina kill, we have Cadiz just sitting there with no hunter left to get onto that. So that's another encounter that's like perhaps a bodyguard, perhaps I don't know, a second hoax even. Don't know. Could kill me, with wolves. Yes, that is also true. So long as the new vampire manages to get in one hit, if it's a wolves, he could kill Mina. I think that when you combine the two things, it is worth it. Oh, there's the plotting. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, this is... I think that... Depending on what the... even if Mina somehow survives, then even if Mina somehow survives, I think it may well have still been worth it to to do this, depending on what that Cadiz mature is. Strength, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now you have to play a guessing game of does he do claws or does he do fangs to try to finish Mina off. Because he won't want a chance. I mean, escape is off the board for the time being. Mina at present is out of events. Claws into knife. Oh, Mina is down. So that's a horse and a knife and whatever tickets she's. A horse, a knife. I know she did take the reckless vampire with her, so there is that. But she did soften up the trail a little. That's worth something. But this is gonna be rough because now I don't know what this is. What this is. And if it's, wait. He could indeed redraw Wild Horses if Cadiz is a hoax. Yes. Which is why I think that the two things combined are indeed worth it. It could also be a bodyguards, which is a worthwhile mature. Aristocratic vampire at Lisbon. He's wondering if he should delay at all due to the fact that Cadiz may end up wiping it, or does he let that one mature? I would become delayed to get rid of it. Okay. Yeah. So this could be very nasty, even more nasty if Mina's holding a white 1 or 2. It was an aristocratic. Oh, I would not have matured that one. Actually, because they know that that's an unnatural fog at Barcelona. So they will simply skedaddle out of that means that the hunters will simply skedaddle out of Spain, so that fog doesn't mean a thing. That being said, since he got value out of Lisbon and Santander, and the vampires did their job, I suppose it may be good enough to mature. Fair enough. There are ups and downs. So where did Dracula go? Did he go Tyrrhenian or did he go South Atlantic? The 1 point difference between the Aristo mature and the new may also have been worth it. Yeah. However, we do have to keep in mind that earlier, before it got traded off of her rather, Mina was showing vampire there, so we know that the hunters do have that around. So we should really count him at 5 influence, because I will be extremely surprised if that doesn't happen at some point. Yeah, that is a good point that the new vampire likely wouldn't have matured. And they'd already emptied out all the spots in between. So, yeah, I think that's worth it. Okay. Staying at sea longer. So, let me see. We had a rumored hoax, but then, so I suppose what CombatWombat needs to do is simply land in the most obscure spot he can. Like, if he's over in the Ionian, he can land at Athens, and since CG is gone, he doesn't need to fear that. He can lay down a vampire of any kind, lay it down, and off he goes. As well as rumoring it, because that will, even with Vampire Lair, that will at least get him to 11 if not 12 points, depending on what type of vamp. Okay, landing. So that's either North Atlantic or Ionian. Could be so that's either Galway, Athens, Salonika, or in a bizarre situation, Nantes. Oh. Well, that rules out Nantes. Hired scouts. Okay, well that's useful. That's useful. So just check Salonika and Athens, and if he's not there, then well, he's at Galway. Yep, he went to Athens. Discarding a stake, even though there's vampire that are kicking around somewhere. Oh? Now you get, oh, a newspaper. Yeah, so this is looking very good for CombatWombat, but we can't. We shouldn't speak too soon. Alright. Yeah, see, it's not off. It's my pleasure to stream these games, and it's just something to do, as I have quite a lot of free time to spend. So. So, how do the hunters get to Athens in time to stop it? So, Sewer could just put to sea and just approach it that way. Especially if he has an excellent weather, he could get to Ione in one jump. And then he can just follow Drac from behind while the others come in from on land. Potentially. At least. That is something that could happen. So what do you do as the hunter here? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So what will Dracula do? I think that Dracula will just start making. Will just head to Castle Dracula for purpose of getting more IDS. At least quite possibly. Okay. Yeah, and all this chaos could have been at least partially avoided if Mina uh, gone, had not gone down to Granada or Cadiz, uh, wherever she went, and simply gone to Santander, let the rumored thing mature, and then pick up from this end of the trail. And I am though going to emphasize partially avoided all that chaos. So we are almost to the... I missed what the second city he searched was, but I'd guess Sophia. Yeah. Right, let's... then, what do the hunters do now? I mean, presumably they're going to continue making their way to the east. Interesting that there was no rumor token. It's possible that they are it's possible that that's going to be another hoax or something. Sarajevo. Okay. Vampire lair, there it is, at last. Okay. So Dracula still needs 8 more points. Yeah, this could come down to a tight finisher. I mean, CombatWombat got off to a great head start, but since he spent so much fuel on doing that, maybe that he just run out. Alright. What now, Dracula? What you up to now? Possibly a wolf form next? No? Okay, no wolf form. Let's see what do they have dawn, like any dawn events that they want to use? Because let's keep in mind that the hunters do have Aggie. So if they do catch up with Dracula at some point, he could be in quite a bit of trouble. So... Okay, didn't go to Zagreb to Sarajevo. So where is he? Okay. Oh, he found him. So from Sarajevo, he went to Belgrade, and then just now Sofia. However, I'm guessing that he wasn't expecting to find Dracula there, or was he? Perhaps. Perhaps Seward's holding on to a heroic leap. If so, then Dracula will need to make a hasty beeline for the castle. Maybe. He could also go to sea again. Try to wait out the clock. This is... No? Okay. Scaring of dogs? Okay. Plan to ambush. Okay. That's not a heroic leap, but it's still useful. Okay. I see that the numbers are rising in my viewers in Twitch. In Twitch. Feel free to say hi, folks. But lurking is just fine. No. Mez, okay. I guess, Seward, you are going to play a heavenly host. Oh, going with... Apparently he doesn't have one if he's going to go with punch. That's interesting. Or it's possible that he wants to try to save his heavenly host for... it's possible that he may want to save his heavenly host for getting rid of desecrated soils, since we haven't seen any of those yet. This is going to be interesting. Claws into dodge. Okay. Nice done, Seward. Fangs into a punch. Alright, so... Yeah, he fit... Aggie prevents that from being healing. But at least there's a little bit of damage onto Seward. But he takes 1 damage in return. So... Things are starting to get... things are definitely starting to heat up for Dracula. The game's fine, but nobody try to say hey hi, folks. I can see the numbers right going up there. Okay, mesmerizing into a rifle. We still haven't seen a knife from Seward yet, or a heavenly host. So all we've seen, in fact, is simply his horse and now this rifle. Interesting. Escape is missed into a knife. Okay, so he does have the knife. Okay, Aggie deals some damage on the way out. So yeah, he's down to 6 health. However, he does have 5 influence, and this is after a vampire lair. For those who have only just tuned in, but he has a good number of encounters, any of which could be desecrated soil, as we haven't seen any of those yet. To help him heal up, but he doesn't. But Geo could still deal with that, because yeah, we've got Geo on the hunters and CombatWombat on Dracula for a just tuning in. This is yeah, Dracula. I mean, he's still out of heroic leap range, but the hunters have Aggie, so it's gonna start getting tight. What do I do if I'm Dracula in this case? I think I probably like go to Salonika and then go to sea again, because he did leave that lair at Barcelona. We know that one of the cards is an unnatural fog, which got laired because everyone had left Spain by the time it would have matured, and they didn't even set foot in Barcelona. The other card we don't know. It's possible that he plans to go back there, like go to Salonika, then go Ionian to Mediterranean, and land it. And the thing is, and the hunters have already spent CG, so landing at Barcelona is really not that risky a thing to do. So yeah, this could still go either way. Despite the absence of CG, it could still go either way. So we know that he went Athens, Valona, Sarajevo, Belgrade, Sofia. So he has 3 options as to where he can go, on the assumption that he does not wolf form. Which he does wolf form, so therefore there are a good number more locations well, in truth only 3 more locations where he could be. Well, 4 actually. So there's 7 locations where he could be. Anyone in chat at Twitch chat want to take a guess as to where he is? Speed telegraph. Okay. What other event does Mia have hanging around? She has hypnosis. Okay. Could be useful. Okay, so Van Helsing is moving first. Okay, gonna use hypnosis to see whether he went to Sajet or Klausenberg? Okay. Oh, and he did. Interesting. last event that she has a surprising return. Not Sajed, it is Klausenberg. Ooh. So Sir would be facing off against him 1v1 again. But if he has Heroic Leap, then that is GG and curtains for Drac. And but if he does not kill him, okay. Well, this Athens encounter is about to mature, and I would be a little bit surprised if we don't have a desecrated soil somewhere along the way here. It may not be Athens necessarily, but I'd be surprised if we don't have it somewhere. Yeah, this is... We are nearing the end of this match. Oh, Hoax. So he's gonna have the option to fetch back his wild horses, which he had earlier. And, but he'll have some other options as well. So he knows that the hunters know. I mean, if he's paying close enough attention, he knows that the hunters know exactly where he is at present. So why not just go to the castle to heal up 5? Well, there are some reasons not to. Especially if he's sitting on the second fog right now. Okay. A hide card, perhaps? Could be. Okay. He gonna check Bucharest? Oh, he took wild horses again. Okay, so he's going to allow Surid to find him. But now, this time, if Surid is holding Heroic Leap, unless there's a fog here, then it's game over for Dracula. There is a fog. Does Surid have forewarned? He does. Reckless Vampire. Okay. Gonna try to snag a point or two. Mez into escape. Okay. Plotting into dodge. Okay, so that means that the Reckless Vampires has a good chance of getting a point here. But we do know, well, we do need to remember that that Surid did show a knife in the previous fight, and he hasn't lost any cards or done any trades since then. So. One thing that I do not like about how Gio is playing this is he's putting it like I'll show you. I suppose I'll show you after this combat is finished. Okay. Fangs into. Okay. Escape. Yep. That's a point. And if he gets another one, then that will nullify the vampire lair. That'll be one fewer day that he needs to survive. Claws into dodge, yeah. Yeah, but to be honest, I don't see him getting another point. I imagine that he's gonna play knife now, and then dodge again. Fangs into, yep, called it. Yeah. Claws into dodge. Yep. So you got 8 points, but but if that last event card that Seward is holding is is Heroic Leap, then it's game over for Dracula, and Geo will take the game. Okay, so Mia finally has dug up her horse from the discard, from the reshuffle. Okay, no Heroic Leap. That's good news for Dracula. However, and is another piece of good news for Dracula is that, I mean, if Seward has a Heavenly Host, he has not shown it yet, which and the previous combat he almost certainly would have played it. Yeah, I think that we're dealing with a Seward who has only weaponry, and I'm going to guess that he has a stake as well, but I don't know that for sure, for certain. So therefore, just do strength mez, strength mez, strength mez, and so on, just so on and so forth. Yep, and yeah, and eventually, perhaps you can also bite him to get that second point. You need to cut one day off. What I was getting at earlier about what I don't like about how Dio's doing this is just look at all this trail. I mean, that could be a Desecrated Soil about to heal up 3 health. It could also, okay, dodge the fangs. So at least for now, isn't going to get bitten. Not yet out of the question, of course, but okay. Does Dracula have any strength cards? Because he's used both his mezzes. He does indeed have strength. And knife. Broke the knife. No more knives. Seward, naughty, you naughty doctor. What do you do as Drac here? You know that Seward has previously shown a rifle. In the previous combat, he showed a rifle. So, do you, in that case, Fang to get the bite and nullify the rifle that way? Plotting. Oh, another knife. So that's what the last card is. Okay. But since he... But since he did plotting here, he can now fetch the second fangs, and with the other knife gone, he can now guaranteed land the hit and bite Seward for another point. He won't gain any healing from it, but he'll get an influence point. And that will be the vampire lair. Oh, mistake. That should have been the second fangs. Well, I suppose. Not strictly this mistake, I suppose. You could have gotten a point and bitten Seward. Whereas on the other hand, he weakened him more by destroying destroying a second weapon. Ooh. I'm not sure I like that one. Because so So what's going to mature at Valona? Desecrated soil. And there's all that, and that's 3 health back up. And that's why I don't completely like what Gio's doing, just chasing after Drac and not attaining to the trail at all. So do you go into the castle? Do you misdirect Belgrade and that? And okay, he went into the castle to get 5 more HP. Let me see. There's still one more. There's still one more reckless vampire unaccounted for. So Seward still has a knife. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Let's remember that Dracula does have wild horses, so he can. I am assuming that Goldam is gonna go straight onto the castle. But now he can do the wild horses. Or is that not the wild horses? It's possible. Is it custom search? I don't know. But if it is wild horses, he can bunt him back into Klausenberg and ambush with that hide vamp again. Wolves. Okay. No items revealed. What? Okay. That's very intriguing. What does he have? Horse, Henley Host, and Steak, I suppose? Okay, yeah. So now he's gonna do wild horses, bunt him onto Klausenberg again, try to get another point. And or just try to get more damage done. Mez into dodge. Okay. So we know that that's the only combat card Seward has, apart from the standard 3, is a knife. Which, that's something that he has to watch out for, to be sure, but... I suppose you mez again now? Oh, going for the fangs. It is, and it hits. So we get another point. Okay. And that also puts Seward into 1 claws equals death range. So that is... So does he even send Seward in? And we have been drawing a reasonable number of hunter events over with Goldaming and Mina. I mean Van Helsing and Mina. So another thing to consider is, what if Sarajevo's a vampire? Then he gets wolf. Then Dracula gets wolf form back. I think that a lot will depend on how this combat here goes. Because if Seward dies, then that's up to 11, and then any vampire mature, it finishes the job. Okay, so now Mina's... Okay, I thought that she might have been going to Sarajevo to start doing something towards clearing the trail, but... Okay. So, Goldaming either just chose to take the damage so as to not have to show his weapons, or doesn't have any weapons. Which... I think that you start by strengthening Seward if you have the option. Okay. Strength into the knife. Okay. There goes Seward's last weapon. And Goldaming, Heavenly Host, so ouch. But Seward is still in quite a state. So, I would now claw Goldaming. Try to hit him with it so that you can use the second half to hit him. Because presumably Seward's going to dodge here. That's what I would assume. As for what Gul'dan's gonna do, I don't know. Okay, targeting Seward with claws. And he did dodge, so yeah, I think that you would have been better off targeting Gul'dan, but what did he do? Yeah, because then you would have forced him to use great strength if he has it. Okay, so now you can just do claws or fangs on Seward to kill him, and or at the very least force great strength if they have it, which is really not that likely. They have a total of 5 unknown events. Fangs, okay. Oh, he does have great strength. Yep, and Aggie's helping them whittle his health down little by little. Okay, and what it Heavenly Host number another Heavenly Host. So now, unfortunately, due to the fact that I think that Dracula is now dead, if they both, well, no, Seward can't do any damage. So long as he stops Gul'dan, because now Gul'dan is now out of items. So he will at the very least be able to make it very tight. Okay. Okay, you do know that Aggie's there to kill you, right? So Geo actually takes the win. It was looking bad for a while, but in the end, Geo takes the win. So well done, Geo. Yeah, that was Aggie MVP. Lots of combats where she was just whittling him down slowly but surely. You will play it both. She will play both. Yeah, that was looking pretty bad for Gia, but nonetheless, well done on both sides. But the only thing that could have been done better is he could have targeted, at least in that last combat, is he could have targeted Gul'dan with that claws to force it a little bit, force the great strength sooner and then kill him the following round. And then you would have been able to focus on Gul'dan alone. Oh? Are they talking about doing the second match? Okay, apparently not going to happen. At least not today. But in any event, thank you everyone for watching. And see you all in the next video. Bye.